It's time to let go of fear. It's time to work through fear. And it's time to step into the truth of who you are. So let's get started. As a tarot reader and spiritual mentor, I am guiding people on a regular basis to really find what's blocking them and to help them move forward or get clarity. And I want to do that for you every month, starting with this month of November. So, what is an energy reading? I'm going to pull cards. I'm going to tap into what is going on energetically and spiritually so you can use that as a resource to make a decision and to take action. So let's see. I'm using an oracle card right now, an oracle deck right now. And let's see what comes up. One of the things that I've been picking up on when it comes to November is, listen, it's not over yet. Things are really just getting started. You don't want to forget who you are. You don't want to forget where you want to be. That's going to be really important. Don't lose focus. It's very easy to get distracted during the holidays. And, we are, a couple of weeks away from Thanksgiving and moving into the other months, December, January. Next thing you know, it's 2021. It's literally like a blur after Halloween. Like, I don't know if it's just me. Is it just me? Let me know. Because seriously, it's like, what just happened? But this is not the time to forget. This is not the time to get distracted. It is time to get really clear. It is time to declutter your mind, declutter your space, and to start connecting and listening to what Spirit is guiding you to do. Because all of the stuff that's going to be coming up, all the distractions that are going to be coming up, all it's going to do is keep holding you back. And you have a choice to make. You can either allow distractions to keep you stuck, or you can step back. You can really observe what's been happening, observe your current situation, and decide if you still want that experience. Do you still want to be where you are 3 months from now, 6 months from now? Or do you want to experience some type of shift or change? With that, if you know that you want something different, you want to move forward, you want to progress, you want to dive deeper, you want to expand, then you're going to have to change. One of my favorite quotes is, nothing changes if nothing changes. And like, think about that for a moment. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So I'm not talking just about what's going on externally around you. This also applies to what's happening within. What about your mindset? How are you emotionally? How are you spiritually right now? Do you feel grounded? Do you feel a bit unsure, a bit lost? Where are you right now? I encourage you to use the month of November to really reflect and connect to that inner voice, that inner self. If you've lost touch with that inner voice, now's the time to reconnect. Because that's so funny. I just looked at this card, and the card of the day is listen good. And it's just words here. It says, listen good. You have an empathic spirit and a huge heart. Sometimes all people need is a sympathetic ear when they are going through a rough time. You are that ear for others. Use your gift of being a good listener to help others heal and find their way to their highest selves. So, this is about listening to yourself, also allowing yourself to be that support for other people. Have you ever been in a situation where you're at a good point in your life, and because you've done the work, you are now able to be that inspiration or be that example for somebody else? Sometimes you don't even realize how much impact you are making on somebody else's life because you've decided to step into your truth and really do what's best for you. This month of November is not the time to please other people. This is really about connecting with what might make you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes doing what's right, what feels true, is stepping out of your comfort zone, because now it's like you're peeling back the onion. There's this layer of yourself that you have kept hidden, right? And now's the time to start to connect with that. Let's pull another card. So we got listen good, and that's about listening to yourself, listening to your inner self, and being that person that someone else can confide in. Sometimes, oh, we got some jumpers here. We have 3 jumpers. Sometimes when you are at a point of confusion, you're just kind of unsure about what decision you should make. Sometimes you just need somebody to bounce ideas off of, or just to be able to just flesh out any of those limiting beliefs that keep running in the back of your head, right? And sometimes you just need to be that person that somebody can confide in so they can get to that next step. So let's see what these jumper cards are. Okay. We have Earth. Connect with Earth by walking barefoot or sitting near a tree. Meditate on feeling grounded. Now, it's interesting that came up, right? Because I was just talking about connecting. And if you're feeling a bit lost or unsure, that now is the time, this month is the time to really start to connect, to really start to find that state of stability when it comes to yourself spiritually, right? So spiritual stability is a little bit different from physical stability, right? So there might be a lot of shift and change that's happening in your physical life, right? So this physical reality, that might be happening, but that doesn't mean that you are not grounded in spirit. And so there's very much a difference there, because when you are grounded in spirit, it allows other things around you externally to change, to match your frequency, to match your vibration. So that's what's going to be happening here. We also have fire. Dance by the light of a flame and visualize your plans into action. Dance by the light of a flame and visualize your plans into action. Listen, we have earth and fire here. When you have these 2 elements together, this is about taking action. This is about having controlled action, though, right? So you control it with the earth element. You find that balance there so it can contain this fire, right? This fire is representing the inspiration, the ideas, that thing that's going to motivate you to create. Some of you out there, I feel it. You are sitting on your talent. Like you're just letting it go to waste. You're just letting it, you're being selfish, actually. That's what it is. Being selfish with your gifts and with your talents. One thing that I've learned is that your gifts, your intuitive abilities, your talent, it's not always about you, right? That's one layer of it. The real impact comes when you can start to share that with the world. You can start to share that with people in your neighborhood. You can start to share that with your friends and family, because that creates that ripple effect of inspiration, of inspiring others to do something, whatever it is. So let's look at this last card here. We have tap into your power. Power is everywhere in nature and throughout your life. You have felt the ebb and flow of this energy. The greatest power is deep inside you and is easily accessible by focusing on energizing your solar plexus. Tap into your inner power today to begin self-healing. Listen, if this is not confirmation here, we have listen good, and that is about listening to your inner self, but also being that listening ear to listen actively for other people so they can get to that point of, if they're feeling stuck and they need somebody that they trust or that inspires them to give them some feedback, you can very well be that person. Then we have earth. This is about being grounded. This is about connecting and really creating that foundation, that spiritual foundation, right? Fire, this is where the activity happens. This is where, once you are in this state, then you have created the container for this action to take place, right? And so that action can come in the form of ideas, of making a decision, of moving, of just changing something, right? Then we have tap into your power. This is about stepping into the truth of who you are. And that's exactly what I was picking up on for this month. If you allow your energy to be caught up in like what other people are doing, what everybody else is doing, if you're doing too much consumption and not enough creating, then you are not tapping into your power. So there should be a balance. There should be a balance of what you're watching and consuming on TV and books and all those things. There should be a balance between that and what you're actually creating, the input versus the output. There's been a lot going on in the news. There has been a lot of distractions in the media, and between all of these things going on with school, with the election, with this pandemic, right? These things can really leave you feeling weighed down. And that is not something that you want to carry with you into this month. And you definitely don't want to carry it with you into the new year. This doesn't mean it's going to be like a complete clean slate, right? Everybody's at a different point, but you don't want to end this month being weighed down by this energy in the same way that you're coming into the month. So there should be some type of cleansing or clearing or decluttering, like I mentioned earlier, that we want to be about. So you can begin that process of transitioning into the new year. You have the calendar year, right? The new calendar year versus the new year, which I believe, and my truth is that the new year, the true new year is spring, is the spring equinox. But for you, it might be different. I identify January as the calendar year. But either way, moving into this, the upcoming months, this is where you have to start shedding. You have to start, like, what I keep seeing is like one of those like a loofah. I keep seeing a loofah, like just scrub it off. Now is the time to scrub and just cleanse, clear, and peel back the layers. And it's time to shed all of the dead skin, all of the energy that no longer serves you. It's time to start releasing, right? But you can't do that unless you're ready. You have to be ready to do that. And one of the ways, how do you know if you're ready, right? That's the question. How do you know if you're ready? If you know you're not ready right now, how can you get ready? You do that by looking at what is it that you are willing to let go of? Is there something that you are afraid to lose? These are the things I want you to think about. Because I've also been in situations where it's like, you know what? I'm not ready to let that go yet. No, no, I'm not ready to let that go. And so that kept me stuck. That kept me at a point where things were just kind of, things slowed down significantly for me, right? Because I was at a point, I was in my ego, and it's like, yeah, no, I'm not ready to let that go. It's like, okay, well, at least I know what the thing is. So now it's in my consciousness, it's in my awareness of, okay, I either have an attachment or I have this egoic link to this thing or this idea, this false sense of security. And now I'm aware of it. Once I'm aware of it, now I can start sifting through that. So at some point, I can start to let that go. I can look at what is it that I actually gain. Let me look at that first. And that's what I encourage you to do. Sit with it for a moment. Sit with it for a few days, a few weeks, and then get to that point of, okay, let me not focus so much on what I'm letting go of. Let me start to look at what I can actually gain. What are the benefits of me letting this thing go? Or this thing could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be a thought, right? It could be a person. But at some point, a shift is going to have to happen. And there's usually two ways it goes from my experience. You let me know if you have experienced anything different, but you can either say yes and move with that ebb and flow of the universe, of nature, as it's putting you in this place of transition, or you can get dragged for filth, is what I like to call it. Dragged, where it's like, you know what? No, this is happening and it's happening anyway. You're just resisting it. So it's just going to be a bumpier road for you. And that's it. Like, I've learned that it's going to happen one way or the other. You can either walk, roll with the flow, walk with it, or just get dragged by your feet or by your hands. Like, you know what? This is what's happening. And a lot of times it is those mental or emotional barriers that can keep us in this state of feeling like safety. Safety equates to not changing. And that's really not the case a lot of times, right? I think if anything this year has taught us is that what we have considered to be safe and secure is not exactly that. We've had to shift in a lot of ways that we weren't expecting. And for you, this month of November is inviting you to consider changing, to consider the possibilities of what could be. This energy for this month is about connecting. It's about listening to yourself more than to others. And when I say listening to yourself, it's not from the point of like just being in your mind. So I want you to listen through the heart. I want you to listen through the spirit. Connect with your solar plexus. One of the cards even mentioned, I think, yes, the tap into your power. So tap into your power. I'll read this again. Power is everywhere in nature and throughout your life. You have felt the ebb and flow of this energy. The greatest power is deep inside you and is easily accessible by focusing on energizing your solar plexus. Tap into your inner power today and begin self-healing. So when it comes to taking action, right, that's very much connected to the solar plexus. So if you're into chakras, this would be a great time of year to really work on your solar plexus, also working on your root chakra as well. One of the things that I can recommend is for some of you, if you're struggling with meditation, like sometimes this might not be the season for you to meditate. This might be the season for you to move in a different way. So move your body differently, maybe journaling. If you're feeling like if you're challenged, if you're feeling like you can't get settled, right? You're feeling kind of like you just have to move around. You're starting to get a bit of, what is it? You're kind of getting antsy. You're getting, you're just feeling like you're tired of being still, right? Then that's that fire. And use that fire to create. Use that fire to do something different. That's something I've personally experienced. And sometimes this month could be calling you to change your routine up a bit. So we're in the 11s right now, right? We're in the 11th month, and this is about transition. This is about change. So I encourage you to embody and explore change, embrace it. As I mentioned, one of my favorite quotes is nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you want to stay exactly where you are, if that's where you want to stay, then really look at what that means when you think of being exactly where you are. Does that mean that you want to stay exactly where you are physically, like in your geographical location? You want to stay there? That's fine. But you can explore change and transition in other areas of your life. And this can all be internal, like I mentioned before. This doesn't always have to be some physical thing. This can be something that is only going on within. And that's often what I'm referring to when I am talking about change and connecting. What actually inspires you to make a move, to create change, to make a decision? That is what the Inspired Action Series is all about. And every month, I am going to do an energy reading for the month to encourage you, to inspire you, to motivate you so you can grow personally and spiritually. Because listen, consuming videos all day on YouTube with valuable information is one thing, but what do you do with that information? Do you take it and use it? Do you implement it? That is what this Inspired Action series is about. We're going to talk about what the energy is and how you can move forward. I'm always going to encourage you to tap into your intuition, to really listen to what spirit is guiding you to do. Be sure to take advantage of the energy of the month of November, and I'll see you on the next one.